Oh, well, hey guys, All Blacks vs Wallabies, Bledisloe Cup Test 1. What a match, guys. Look, guys, in this review, I'm going to cover a couple of areas. So, firstly, what are the key factors in the first and second halves of the match that were key to determining the result? Secondly, what was good and bad for both the All Blacks and the Wallabies? And then finally, what players really stood up and played well from both sides. Look, that first half, wowee, the All Blacks just came out the blocks, didn't they? So well. And look, their attack was fantastic in the first 20 minutes. There was pretty good tries to Will Jordan and Rieko Ioane. Particularly that try by Will Jordan, a couple of phases, and then out the back door to him. And Will Jordan's just got that out-and-out raw speed and just straight to the try line. But also the try to Rieko Ioane was pretty good. But guys, let me know your thoughts on this. I did think that the Wallabies defence in that first half was a little bit lacking. And, particularly both those tries from memory, I don't believe they were even more than 10 phases. So a bit of an easy start for the All Blacks, but they still executed well. Look, the rest of the first half, look, the Wallabies, they were pretty error-ridden, weren't they, in that first half? A number of drop balls. Their set piece was lacking, and particularly those mistakes certainly helped the All Blacks execute a few more tries. And pretty much that first half, pretty dominated by the All Blacks. Alternately, though, I did think that the All Blacks probably did leave one or two chances out there, particularly the offload by Scott Barrett in that first half. Guys, it was only after about 9 phases, and I just thought, why are you throwing a 50-50 when we haven't really put the Wallabies under, a decent level of pressure yet? So some questions to ask about that attack execution in the first half anyway. Look, halftime score, 28 points to 14. And guys, it's quite funny, isn't it? Against other international sides, a scoreline like that would probably be game over. Sides that aren't as attacking as both the Wallabies and All Blacks are. But at 28-14, I thought, this game is still in the balance, and I had no doubt that the Wallabies could come back and score 4 tries in the second half and win the game comfortably. Just a good old Southern derby, isn't it, guys? Look, that second half, it was sort of a game of two halves, wasn't it? First half dominated by the All Blacks. Second half completely dominated by the Wallabies, really, wasn't it, guys? Look, that second half, the Wallabies came back. They scored some really good tries, didn't they? They got their balance between the physicality, some real brutal ball carriers by, Harry Wilson, Solokai Lotu, and then they'd go spin the ball wide, and particularly that final try to Tom Wright. That was a really well executed try, wasn't it, guys? Really impressed by the Wallabies with that. The All Blacks as well. Look, that second half, their attack just wasn't there. That they weren't executing, and I think there was probably maybe 2 or 3 chances that, against a better Wallaby defence, they just weren't able to apply pressure, have the persistence, and execute on attack. So again, some concerns about the All Blacks' execution of attack. Also, the 2 yellow cards to the All Blacks. So, guys, let me know your thoughts on that. But first one, Anton Lienert-Brown, a yellow card, sort of more a team yellow card. Pressure from the Wallabies and errors by the All Blacks accumulating into a yellow card for Anton Lienert-Brown. And then pressure building up, and ultimately Caleb Clark sticks his arm out for an intercept. But a bit of a brain fade from him there, guys. He's normally pretty good in that area, but again, pressure comes on and it highlights some concerns for the All Blacks. But look, ultimately 2 yellow cards in that second half against them really put pressure on the All Blacks. They just can't afford to keep giving away yellow cards at Test match rugby. So guys, for me though, the big play, I definitely think that the Wallabies well did enough to win the game. In fact, I probably think they deserved to win the game. But, particularly that final play, I thought the All Blacks down to 13 men and the Wallabies execute a pretty simple attacking play out the back door to Andrew Callaway, who drops it, who knocks it on. 15 players on 13. All he needed to do was just catch the ball and execute it a few plays accurately, and I have no doubt the Wallabies would have been able to score then. And guys, I think if they had scored then, I think they win the match. Bit of pill to swallow for the Wallabies, but ultimately a 31-28 win to the All Blacks. Both sides, look, firstly, if you look at the Wallabies, I think their first half, I think they'll be pretty disappointed with that first half. Their defence was pretty weak. They gave the All Blacks so much space, didn't they? And look, you give the All Blacks space and the opportunity to play running rugby, their DNA, they're going to cut you to pieces. So, look, ultimately the All Blacks did run riot on them in the first half. Also, they made a number of errors in that first half, wasn't there, guys? A number of dropped balls. Their set piece wasn't quite working as well as it should have. And look, the momentum was just all with the All Blacks in that first half. Second half, though, wowee, they were a completely different side. And guys, let me know your thoughts on them in the second half. For me, though, that's the best I think I've seen the Wallabies all of 2024. Their attack execution was fantastic. Their defence was fantastic. They were a completely different side in that second half, weren't they, guys? And particularly the Wallabies attack, it just shows you how dangerous they can be. They get some brutal ball carries. They get some good ruck speed. They shift the ball wide. They can be a very, very dangerous side on attack. So I think overall, even though the Wallabies lost and they'll be disappointed because they well did enough to win the game, I think they'll take a lot of positives out of the game, though. Look, they are a side that's rebuilding under a new coach and Joe Schmidt, and particularly that second half, like I said, some real positives for the Wallabies. To the All Blacks, look, that first half, look, their attack started to flow. They were creating more opportunities than they have in other previous games this year. But I just thought, look, that first and second half, and I thought before this game, I thought this might be the game that their attack execution really clicks and they start firing. Wasn't to be, so we'll have to wait. Maybe it'll be next weekend, but I just didn't think that both in that first and second half, their attack execution was quite there. Look, ultimately, they dominated that first half, but it was against pretty poor Wallaby defence and certainly gave them a lot of opportunities with errors. So almost more the Wallabies undoing in that first half and the All Blacks playing well. The second half, their attack really fell away then for the All Blacks, didn't it, guys? And the attack execution just wasn't there at all. Look, I've got noted, I reckon they left at least 2 or 3 chances in that second half. So back to the drawing board for them. They're creating lots of chances, but if you're creating but you're not executing well, it doesn't accumulate points, and that's not going to win your test matches, guys. So back to the drawing board for Razor there. And look, ultimately those 2 yellow cards, you apply some pressure on the All Blacks, and at the moment they just don't seem to be handling the pressure that well, do they, guys? So yeah, back to the drawing board there, and obviously Anton Leonard-Brown and Caleb Clark with those yellow cards. Yeah, they'll have to be better next time. But yeah, ultimately, guys, I just still think if the All Blacks, their attack execution is like it was in this game, particularly these games later in the year against England, Ireland and France, they're going to struggle if they can't improve on their attack execution. So back to the drawing board there for Razor Ray. Players to watch from both sides. Look, I thought Caleb Clark, he was fantastic, wasn't he, guys? And for me, he brings sort of an element to the All Blacks that I think they're missing at the moment. So particularly his work with the high ball. The All Blacks haven't been strong with the high ball and putting pressure on with their kicking game. And look, he caught a fantastic one in the Wallabies 22 and really put pressure on the Wallabies. But particularly his ball carrying, look, I think they need a bit of something different on attack. So he's helping that All Blacks attack out. Cortez Ratama, he definitely the best I've seen him play for the All Blacks. Look, his box kicking was brilliant, wasn't it? Accurate. And particularly his defence, that tackle he made on Marika Kurabeti. He's not a big man, Cortez Ratama, against Marika Kurabeti, a world-class winger, power and speed to burn, and he just put his shoulder into him and dropped him, didn't he? So really impressive on defence. To the Wallabies, look, I thought Noah Lolesio was fantastic for them, wasn't he? Look, he just looks so composed, his game management. And to me, it's almost like a bit of a hole that's been missing and perhaps is going to be filled now, guys, with Noah Lolesio. Certainly he led that Wallaby backline round so well, didn't he, guys? So, yeah, he was brilliant, wasn't he? Harry Wilson for the Wallabies. Look, I thought he had a really good game, particularly just his ball carries. You know, he's so brutal with his physicality and, you know, getting over that advantage line, but particularly his work rate around the field, his work at the breakdown, his work on defence. Like, he's a real player for the future, isn't he, as well, guys? So, things to take away for both sides. Bledisloe Cup just in the bag for the All Blacks, but we're on to game 2, and it's going to be an absolute cracker in Wellington. Can't wait. Guys, if you've enjoyed this video, please let me know your thoughts and add comments on the match. Cheers.